Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday Creative Living series. It's always a gift to come together like this, where we discuss not just ideas, but real truths that we can live and feel in our everyday lives. It's about the truth. Wherever you are, the truth remains the truth. And if you're aligned with the truth, it will show forth for you. Tonight, we open our hearts to the truth that's bigger than any idea of not having enough or just getting by. We are not here to talk about how to survive. We are here to wake up to what it already really means to live fully. What it is to live fully, to enjoy your life fully. There's something within you that already knows the rhythm of abundance. You were created with it. It is that part of you that knows how to breathe without trying, how to heal without instruction, how to love without being told. It's just within us. That same inner wisdom knows how to prosper freely, joyously, and naturally. That same wisdom knows how to prosper freely, joyously, and naturally. So tonight we step beyond survival and open our awareness to the full, radiant life that's already ours by divine design. In our design, we have been created to be abundant, to be prosperous. So let's take a deep breath in and silently affirm, I am here to remember that life was never meant to be endured. I am here to remember that life was never meant to be endured, but expressed. And again, we often say suffering is not God ordained. It's not our portion. It's not who you have been created to suffer, to be. Somewhere along the line, humanity developed a strange idea that being spiritual meant struggling, or being humble meant barely getting by. We were taught that wanting more of life was selfish. It's not spiritual. That having abundance meant taking from someone else. Or that joy was to be postponed until later, perhaps until the dreamland, retirement, or someday that never seems to come. We postpone all the good to later time. But there's a greater truth waiting for us to see. What's that greater truth? The great creative power inside you isn't here to survive. We're not here to just survive. It's here to grow. So if you're engaged in anything and it's not expanding, then that is not the design of the universe for you. It's to expand and to express itself fully. The life force that animates the universe did not place itself within you only to see you scrape by. You know who you're one with? You know the power you are one with? It couldn't have put itself in you for you to just survive, for you to just exist. It placed itself within you so that you might live fully, overflowing with every good thing, with vitality, with beauty, with divine satisfaction. So if you are not experiencing that, then there are some roadblocks hindering that flow. To live the awakened life means moving from survival consciousness to spiritual sufficiency. It means no longer asking, how can I make it? And instead, living in the vibration of How can I express the fullness of what I already am? And that brings the question, do you know who you are already? Do you know yourself? So let's affirm again, I am not here to merely survive. I am here to express the infinite abundance of life. The infinite abundance of life. As we open to this greater way of living, it helps to look at one of the deepest illusions that keep us bound to struggle. The belief that there isn't enough. The belief that there isn't enough. Many people have been taught to fear lack, to believe that supply is uncertain, or that we must compete for what already belongs to all. But each time we talk about an infinite universe, an infinite God, but we just say it with our lips and we do not imbibe that into our lives. But the truth is far more generous than that. Scarcity is not a condition of the world. It is a condition of thought. It's not the absence of supply, but the absence of awareness. Look around you, the universe waits nothing. Trees give forth in every season according to their design. Rivers never worry about whether they will find their way to the sea. The sun has never dimmed because too many people asked for its warmth. Everything is abundant. And this awareness just made me remember a story I heard a long time ago about someone that was paid a ticket to travel, for instance, from location A to location B. And when he or she got on the train, she carried her box on her head. And when she was offered something, she thought she would pay extra money and rejected it. But did not know that all these things had been paid with that ticket. And that's how it is with our life. These things are made available. You have been created with it. So what we are doing in these classes is to come to the awareness and allow that thing to flow through, that abundance, that wholeness. It's been signed, sealed, and delivered in the package that you are. So scarcity begins the moment we believe we are separate from source. It is forgetting that what flows through the universe is also flowing through you. But we have so many beliefs that block this from us, but we're learning how to allow it. In survival mode, life feels like competition for limited resources. The resources are not limited. It's enough for each and every one of us. Not just enough to have the exceedingly, the abundantly, and the above. So we cling, we hold on, and work ourselves too hard trying to make ends meet, not realizing that we are where the divine and the world come together. Again, this truth is simple but powerful. You don't have to chase abundance. Life is already trying to express its abundance through you. And would you allow it? When we understand this, our consciousness expands. We stop begging life to give us what we already are. That's who you are. We just open our eyes to what has been. So let's affirm, I release every thought of not enough. I am one with inexhaustible source of all good. You are one with the inexhaustible source of all good. You are one with it. When we begin to dissolve the illusion of scarcity, something remarkable happens. Our perception shifts from one of limitation to one of possibility. We start to see that what we call lack is not real absence, but an opened doorway in consciousness. We start to see that what we call lack is not a real absence, but an unopened doorway in consciousness. Again, an unopened doorway in consciousness. Once that doorway is recognized, the next natural realization dawns. Abundance is not something that arrives by chance, no, or by luck. It arises from awareness itself. Do you know that this has been paid for you? Or are you living like you do not know this has been paid for? So prosperity is not measured again in bank balances, possessions, or acclaim. It is measured by the ease with which divine ideas flow through us and take form in our world. Like we said some time ago, most times the demonstration, the miracles that we need is just one word. Just one word. And that one word might be the seed that you need to run with. Just one word. And I'm saying it, and I don't know why magnificent is still coming to mind. Just one word. That's all we need. It might be the seed, it might be the miracle word, that demonstration. That word that in times of fear, you say that word. Times of uncertainty, you speak that word. Example, you can give two people the same amount of money, the same opportunity, and the same tools, and one would multiply it, and the other will lose it. And you may ask why? Because prosperity is a state of consciousness. When consciousness expands, you know what? Everything else reorganizes around it. Once your consciousness is positive, every other thing aligns to that flow. It doesn't have a choice. Prosperity is not what you get, it's what you radiate. A truly prosperous person could lose everything today and recreate it tomorrow, because the creative pattern of wealth is already established in their mind. The cause of all wealth, love, peace, and vitality is always within consciousness first. In our teaching, we often say you do not make your living, you make your consciousness, and your consciousness makes your living. When you live in harmony with the divine law of increase, everything you need and more begins to appear in right order. So again, we affirm prosperity is a natural state of my consciousness. I live in divine increase. So as we open to this deeper recognition that prosperity begins in consciousness, something inside relaxes. We no longer need to chase life. We begin to trust life. The more we align with the flow of divine ideas, the more effortless our experience becomes. It's at this point that a profound shift occurs within us, we realize that prosperity is not a matter of striving or acquiring, but of allowing. Allowing. Most of us have been conditioned to acquire things, to chase after them, to earn them. But in the higher order of truth, prosperity is not about getting, it's about letting. Letting what is already present flow freely through us. Letting love circulate. Letting joy move unhindered. Letting ideas take form. Think of life as a great river. You don't have to push the water. You only need to remove the stones of fear, of guilt, and unworthiness that block the current. We just need to move that stone, that barrier, that old story. In survival consciousness, we say, I have to make this happen. In awakened consciousness, we say, I allow life to express through me. I allow life, our life prosperity, our life everything good to express through me. When you stop resisting your good, it rushes in with generosity that feels miraculous, but it's not a miracle. It is the law of correspondence. As within, so without. That's what you have been created. Once the consciousness inside is in line, every other thing just responds to that. Again, we affirm, I'm not striving to get abundance. I am allowing abundance to express through me. We are allowing abundance to express through us. As our understanding deepens, we begin to see that allowing abundance isn't about having more things or having everything. It's about being in balance with the flow of good. The more we allow the good that already exists within us to circulate, the more naturally life supports our expansion. Yet, even as we open to this truth, many still carry hidden contradictions about prosperity. Inner conflicts that quietly shape their experience of receiving. There are those who feel guilty about having, and those who feel justified in not having. Both are misconceptions of spiritual truth. Abundance isn't about being good or bad. It's about the energy you carry and the way you see life. When your thoughts and feelings are open, grateful and trusting, that energy, what it does is that it attracts more good to you. But when you live in fear and guilt, it blocks the natural flow. It's not about deserving, it's about allowing life's energy to move truly through you, through me. Being poor doesn't make you a better person, and being rich doesn't make you a bad one. The only measure of spiritual prosperity is the flow of divine good through your consciousness and into the world. So when we believe that having more will separate you from God or others, you unconsciously reject your own good. Or when we stick to some beliefs, oh, nobody in my place, in my family has gone beyond this. We unconsciously hinder that flow. You stop the flow of the very thing you are meant to circulate. The universe does not withhold. The universe mirrors. It mirrors your consciousness. It mirrors the state of your mind. It mirrors what you believe. It cannot pour abundance into a cup that insists it's unworthy to receive. So when we want to heal the prosperity complex, that subtle belief that says, I shouldn't want too much, or I don't deserve better, that belief is not humility. It is forgetfulness. It's forgetting who you are. It's forgetting who you are one with. It's forgetting the power that flows through you. It's forgetting that circulation, it's the flow of prosperity. You are, again, an individualized expression of the infinite. How could the infinite ever be served by your smallness? How can you represent the infinite by your smallness? What would change if you stopped shrinking and allowed your life to show the true size of the spirit within you? Can we imagine the true size of the spirit, of the good, of the power that we are one with? And let's affirm again, I am worthy of all the fullness of life. I welcome every expression of good as a reflection of divine. We welcome every expression of good into our life. So when we begin to release guilt and unworthiness, something profound unfolds. The heart grows spacious enough to receive. Every limitation we once accepted starts to dissolve in the light of remembrance. So we don't approach the ocean of life with a small cup or a small bucket. We approach the ocean of life with a large container, because there's no scarcity with the infinite. We realize that life was never withholding anything from us. It was simply waiting for our permission. The flow of good does not need to be earned. It only needs to be allowed. Let's visit the story of one elderly preacher. There was once a devoted teacher of truth who loved the divine deeply but feared that material comfort might distance her from the sacred, from her work, from her divine work. So she lived with little, believing that lack proved her devotion. One evening, she attended a gathering where a speaker invited everyone to make a request, not for escape, but for expansion. He said, when you give from love, ask life to meet you at that vibration. Something within her stirred. She had never asked for material goods before. But that night she whispered, I am willing to experience ease. I am willing to have my own home. That sounds like allowing the flow, opening up for the flow. That simple act, a willingness to be blessed, opened the floodgates of consciousness. Within a short period, what happened was that her community gifted her exactly what she had denied herself for years. That's a home. The outer miracle was only a reflection of an inner permission slip. Just opened her consciousness to allow good to flow in. The universe had been waiting all along for your yes. The universe, hear it again, is waiting for your yes. That story is every soul's story. The moment you stop apologizing for your good, the universe rushes in to meet your readiness. Make me remember a line again in the scripture that said, if you are willing and you align with the principles, if you're willing and obedient, if you're willing and aligned with the flow of good, you will eat the good of the land. Let's affirm again. I no longer fear abundance. I am willing to let the universe bless me richly. As we open our hearts to receive, we begin to see that life itself is always expanding. The same power that makes a seed grow, fills the sky with stars, and turns ideas into new beginnings is also at work within you, within me. There's a natural rhythm in the universe, always giving and expanding. Always giving and expanding. And when we move with it, life flows smoothly and beautifully. The divine mind is a principle of increase. Everything in nature multiplies itself. A single seed can produce a forest. A single idea can change the course of a lifetime. A word can turn every situation in our life, in your life, around. The law is simple. What you praise expands. We've heard this before. What you praise expands. When you bless what you have, you invite more of it. When you complain or criticize what you have, you push it away. So prosperity practice doesn't begin with getting it, begins with gratitude. Gratitude is the invisible magnet that draws increase. It tells the universe, I see your goodness. I recognize your generosity. So each morning, let's try and practice this. Take a moment to bless what already fills your life. Bless your home for giving you shelter. Bless your body for faithfully serving you. Bless your bills knowing they are evidence of energy and circulation. Bless your work as a place where divine ideas find expression. Bless your bed for being comfortable and carrying you all through the night. So every blessing you give sets in motion a vibration that the universe immediately recognizes and joyfully echoes back. Remember I said earlier, the universe mirrors our consciousness. So let's affirm again, I bless everything in my world, and what I bless increases. When we live with gratitude, it naturally opens the next doorway, the flow of giving and receiving. Life is always in motion, and so is prosperity. Everything in the universe, from the tides to our very breath, moves in rhythm. When we try to hold too tightly to anything, whether it's money, love, or even time, we interrupt that natural rhythm. True prosperity, it's not about holding on. It's about letting energy move through us freely and joyfully. Money, ideas, and time, they are all forms of energy. When energy flows, life thrives. When it stagnates, life contracts. The person who hoards money cuts off circulation, just as the person who hoards love does. Both suffer from the same illusion of separation. To prosper means to let the energy of giving and receiving flow through you without resistance. Again, give not to get, but because giving affirms that you already have. We are not giving with intention to get back, but it just affirms that we already have. and receive not with guilt, but with joy, because receiving allows others to give. So when you allow yourself to circulate freely, you become a living current of divine flow. And I do not know a situation where the person that circulates ever lacks. You would never lack. Again, in the words of Luke from the scriptures, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measures, pressed down, shaking together, and running over, shall men pour unto your bosom when you give. Think of it at dimensions of giving. There are good measures, they'll be shaking together, they'll be running over. So let's affirm again, I give and I receive freely. I am a clear channel through which divine abundance flows. You know, there's a story about a little bird that fell from its nest before it could fly. For days, it hopped across the ground, watching other birds rise into the sky. Every time it tried, it fell back to the ground. And so it stopped trying. It gave up. One day, a strong wind came through the field, bending tall grass, spinning the leaves, and moving everything in its path. The little bird felt that wind against its feathers, and something inside whispered, "Try again. Try again." That's a word for someone. Try again. Just try again. So it opened its wings, not to struggle this time, not to prove anything, just to let the wind carry it. And that was the moment it discovered it could fly. And life is like that wind, always moving, always lifting, always ready to carry us higher. When we stop fighting, when we stop doubting, when we open our wings and trust the current, something happens. We realize we were never meant to crawl through life. We were made to soar. You are made to soar. The trees don't strain to grow. They lean into the light. The rivers doesn't force its way to the sea. It simply flows its course. The bird doesn't create the wind. It allows it. And that's our invitation tonight. To stop forcing and start allowing. To stop forcing and start allowing. To stop surviving and start living. So as you leave here this evening, I want you to remember the same wind that lifted that small bird is beneath your wings right now. That same power. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to open. Just open yourself to the flow of good. And when you do, you will feel it. That quiet, steady lift of life itself, holding you up, guiding you forward, reminding you that you were never meant to stay on the ground. You are never meant to suffer. Suffering is not God ordained. You were made to fly. And the sky, the wide, has been waiting for you. And so it is.